In this video, I will introduce a strategy what we can do to help teachers to deal with twice exceptional students in the regular classroom, staying close to their existing teacher competencies. In my daily practice, I'm a teacher educator based in the Netherlands, and in that capacity, together with my colleague Annemieke Weterings, I designed a teacher education course on twice exceptionality. A 2-year course, 380 hours, focusing on giftedness, learning disabilities, ASD, ADHD and executive skills. And today I'd like to tell you a little bit about the strategy we teach our teacher students. In our course, a change and solution-focused approach is leading for the skills we want our teacher students to develop. We teach them how they can explore and set to use the interplay between the student and the ecological system. This exploration is a prelude to the development of a custom-made educational design for an individual student. And the underlying concept is that there are no twice exceptional students that are alike, even though they both meet the criteria for being labeled as twice exceptional. The concept of the ecological system is based on Bronfenbrenner's idea of the ecology of human development and the application of this concept to education by Van Meersbergen and Jeninga. During our training courses, we focus on 6 actors in this so-called ecological system. The student takes in a central position. The teacher, the curriculum, the physical learning environment, peers and parents surround the student, and they all play an equally important role. They do not only influence the student directly, but they also influence each other, and the interplay between them creates an additional influence on the student. At the same time, the student, influenced by the other actors, responds and therefore influences the other actors as well. And this creates the complexity of daily education. And looking at education from this perspective, it is a miracle that teachers can accomplish as many successes as they do. Dutch schools are relatively small. The average primary school has 250 students. Primary schools are considered large if they have 400 students or more. And the school size has consequences for the care system supporting the students with complex educational needs, as in being twice exceptional. Seeking assistance from experts from different fields of expertise or getting help from a school psychologist is very costly and, therefore, these options are limited. Standardized testing is also limited to a minimum. And as a result, our care system is mostly directed by what teachers can do in a pre-diagnostic stage. Now, having set the stage, I can talk about what we teach our teacher students. In the second year of their training, they do a large case study, and in this case study there are 3 phases: exploration, design 1 and design 2. And this case study can best be seen as the haute couture of interventions. For their case study, our teacher students all choose students who, in the perspective of the adults involved, display traits of being gifted as well as signs of having a learning or developmental disability, or display difficulties using executive skills. The exploration aims to map the Big Bang between natural abilities and experience limitations, or, as we call it, the clash. In this process, the interplay between all the actors of the ecological system regarding the clash is systematically explored, resulting in a joint perspective on the need for change. During the exploration, our teacher students also map the exceptions. When is the problem less severe or even non-existing? What is the difference in the ecological system at these moments, and what can we learn from these exceptions? This part of the exploration can best be compared with a treasure hunt for existing but not recognized competencies to apply effective interventions. The starting point for Design 1 is the inventory of perspective for improvement, and based on the results of the treasure hunt. Using the sentence, "I think the situation will improve if," is at this point the most important tool. The need for change is, based on Trail's approach, divided into 4 domains: academic achievement, cognitive style, interpersonal understanding and interpersonal relationships. And these 4 domains influence the student's ability for self-actualization. Each actor is asked what he or she can contribute to change the current situation, focusing on one or more of the previously mentioned domains, and they can suggest as many contributions they can come up with. Important at this stage is to keep the actions simple and small. Almost all our teacher students tend to aim high and set complex goals, as the problems with their students are often huge. Due to the complexity of the problems, the actors involved also have difficulties in exercising patience. For the actual design, a maximum of 3 actions for each actor are selected. At this point, it is important that our teacher students keep a strong focus on the feasibility of the suggestions, and the transformation of separate actions into the actual design ends with a final review of what we call joint advocacy. Design 1 is prepared and implemented, and during a period of 8 weeks, actions and development are monitored, and our teacher students use simple monitoring systems often designed by the actors themselves. This can vary from working with smileys, toting, star reports, or marking coursework to joint reflection moments. At the end of this period, our teacher students gather their data and map the results, and the results are reflected on with all the actors involved. So the classroom teacher, the parents, the students, and sometimes peers as well, all talk about what did we do, how did we do it, and what are the results. All successes are celebrated and acknowledged. They are not defined by their size, but by the goodness of fit regarding the clash and the need for progress. Based on these reflections, Design 2 is developed. Successful actions are prolonged and less successful actions are either optimized or replaced. Based on 50 of these case studies, we dare to conclude that our approach works. In all cases, success is accomplished. All the explored clashes have been decreased and are transformed into manageable situations for all involved. Both the well-being and the functioning of twice exceptional students have improved. The analysis of our 50 case studies did not provide us with interventions applicable for all twice exceptional students. However, it proved that the strategy used was highly effective to emancipate teachers to design effective and easily to apply interventions in a pre-diagnostic stage, and we could not have wished for better results. Now, as an example, I'm going to talk a little bit about Tim. Tim is almost 6 years old, and the clash is pinpointed as he's as bright as a button but not able to a level of self-regulation that may be expected from a boy at his age. And as a result, he is not able to take on challenging tasks in his zone of proximal development under current classroom conditions. Tim wanted to learn how to become more in control of his learning, or, as he expressed it, I think things will improve if I can remember what to do when I'm working on my projects and what I can do to make them better. Part of the interventions was that the teacher opted to have brief reflection moments at the end of each working moment every morning. However, in daily practice, she often forgot to make time for Tim. So, for Design 2, Tim suggested that a teacher could be replaced by his favorite stuffed animal, a chicken. The 2E specialists brought Tim a simple stuffed animal, a bright yellow and red chicken. And Tim was thrilled with his new mate, and during Design 2 a beautiful thing happened. When Tim had finished his task, he told his new mate what he had done and how he'd done this. And Tim's strength was his big fantasy. And after 3 days, the chicken started to respond to what Tim told him, and in his responses the chicken gave Tim suggestions for improving his work. Tim promised the chicken to give the suggestions a try the next day. The classroom teacher had observed these curious conversations and started to join Tim and the chicken. And as she did, Tim said to her, "Just listen, miss, this is a really bright chicken." And at the end of Design 2, Tim's learning process and results were much improved. And at that point, he suggested to the 2E specialist and the teacher that he could do it without the help of the chicken. And when they asked him if he was sure, he looked at him and said, "Of course, sillies, it's a stuffed animal. He can't talk for real. I just played that he could, and that's how I became Superman."